Jesus.
Hey, Pat.
Yes, Joseph.
Until you told me the other day, I didn't know the Islanders had returned to their old haunt, Nassau Coliseum. And we just played the audio of last night's anthem, and it was raucous and festive, and the whole crowd was singing. The place was sold out, and the Island is going to play the hated Tampas in the semis.
Yes, they are. They were in the semis last year, but in the bubble in Toronto. This is a nostalgic return home. And the crowd, I actually watched quite a bit of the finish just to see the crowd. They were insane.
Yep.
And you could see that arena just as terrible as it ever was. I've always said discomfort makes for louder crowds, and it's just triumph, The Williams Arena used to be incredibly loud because people were not sitting back in their seats. They were on the edge of their seats because the fat ass next to them was taking up all their room,
Right.
So, and of course it isn't that way anymore because there's nobody there. But, this place, it looks like they're having the time of their life. And I think it's great that they're only doing it once, right?
Yep, I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, they're only getting this new palace. But Mike Reusse that's how he became a hockey fan. Was being a young man on the island when they were great, and I said, why the hell are you here? Why aren't you out there watching this for your nostalgic memories of the Islanders? It's got to be fantastic. So, yeah, you love that arena, right? I never went, of course. I was in treatment, but what did they do for you media wise? Some dumpy old press box?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm not. I just remember that I felt as though I was just sitting among the fans.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
I'll tell you another bit of trivia about that. I was in the locker room with the North Stars. The TV was on in there. This was pregame or off day, and it came on the news that the Pope had been shot. Remember the Deuce got shot? Pope
sure.
And I can't remember who it was, but a bunch of the guys looked at each other and said, "Oh man, they got him in his own room," meaning that he had been shot in Rome. And those guys were saying, "Man, they got him in his own room."
The room, you're supposed to have a good room when you're the Pope, aren't you?
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a good room.
Is the
There's no sport where the room is more important than in hockey.
Is the Island the blue collar crowd, the Rangers the white collar crowd, or how does that work?
I think it did. It was that way, even though the Island, this was like Queens' team. This wasn't like the Hamptons team, the Islanders, right, Joe? They were like,
yeah.
I mean, they were Queens' team, and but now they're going to get this palatial arena that's supposed to top everything else. So I don't think the blue collar folks are going to be able to afford tickets. So I don't know. It's supposed to be tremendous. This place they're moving into has all the modern entities.
Pat, where is it? Is it on Long Island, the new one?
It's going to be at Belmont Park, basically.
The horse racing place?
Yeah, right next to Belmont Park.
Wow.
And but it's and it's. I think they finally got the public to pony up with a lot of money for that thing. So it's supposed to be great. But yeah, who could not be rooting for the Islanders? Plus, War Road, Minnesota, Brock Nelson, he got 2 of the goals last night.
Yep.
They got other Nick Leddy, Eden Prairie. He's on that team playing extremely well. And the best of the Minnesota kids, Anders Lee, he's hurt, but he's the Edina. He's the Edina kid that I love because his senior year in high school, as he was going to be an NHL draft choice, and everybody that was harassing him to go play junior hockey, he stayed back and played quarterback for the Edina Hornets. And I love those guys that played with their high school teams.
I do too.
And he did that, just like Matt Niskanen up on the range, who his senior year, as everybody was telling him, he can be a first rounder. if he just goes plays juniors, he played hockey in Virginia, but in the fall he played football for his I think a Mountain Iron lads, and in the spring he played baseball for them too. So he's stuck with his buddies. I always like those guys.
And that's a dying art, the kids that play multiple sports.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
Oh
Wow.
man, yeah. It certainly is. They end up, if they're any good, choosing when they get to be about 13 or 14, right? If you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Not much to say about the Fighting Twins, is there?
oh, I think there's a lot to say. Did you see the Daubers' excuse for his pathetic effort?
Nope.
Now we saw Shoemaker this week had
Too sweaty.
Got one out and gave up 9 runs because his hands were sweaty.
Yeah.
He apparently didn't know that rosin bag was sitting behind him where it's been for 100 years, but where he could pick it up. But yesterday, the Dauber, as it turned out, was developing a blister under one finger on his pitching hand. So he went to the nail salon. I guess the fingernail was removed, or he had a false fingernail put on there, like a chick does, right?
Yeah.
To help with the blister situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he ended up having a bruise on his finger, and he didn't have quite the strength he usually has
Sure.
for those slide balls that he was throwing right in the middle of the plate to the big Yankee sluggers and saying, "See if you can hit it in the river." That's on Twitter. We need Ring Lardner to come back from the grave and cover this team.
Yep.
They could come up with some excuses, man. I don't even think Alibi Ike could have come up with that one.
No.
You know who I grew an appreciation for last night, Patrick? Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole, Joe, was accused of doctoring the baseball by our third baseman, Josh Donaldson. And so when Josh came up, Garrett, who's got a pretty good fastball, I believe, Pat, the stat was up until this point in the 2021 season, he had thrown 4 fastballs over 100 miles an hour in the entire season. Yesterday, he threw 2 of them to Josh Donaldson.
Yes, he did. And by the way, very good breaking pitch yesterday. Man, he had good stuff. I'm shocked the Twins scored a couple of runs off him because he came out and was a flame throwing, to say the least. I went back, reminded me of I've said this a couple of times, but the St. Louis Cardinals, my St. Louis Cardinals, had won 19 out of 20 one year, and they were trying to catch the Dodgers. This was in the 60s, great rivalry, and Harry Carey was still doing play-by-play for the Cardinals. It was before he had an affair with Gussie Bush's daughter-in-law and got fired. So anyway, Harry's Koufax is pitching for the Dodgers that night, and I'm listening to Harry, and the Dodgers score in the top of the first, and Harry says, "That's okay, we'll get him tomorrow." Koufax, they got one run against to give to Koufax, and that's what when I saw Cole starting at the top of the throwing at the bottom of the first, I said, "That's okay, we won't get him tomorrow, but that's okay." Anyway, so this is a bad team, Joe.
Oof.
They got a lot of injuries, but tonight they are starting lefty J.A. Happ, right?
Yep.
Doesn't throw real hard. The Yankees, for their first time in their careers, they don't have any left-handed hitters. So you're going to send a lefty who doesn't throw hard out there against those guys tonight. He's going to give up 14 if he's lucky against all those right-handed hitters. I
like what you wrote about Buxton the other day. If he wants a contract, he's got to prove he can play 100 games.
Yeah, right now is his test, and it's not off to a good start, by the way. Mm-hmm. They didn't play him last night because the field was wet. Mm-hmm. So, and then he's also assured everyone, "Don't worry, you won't see me this weekend. I gotta work on my stuff here before I'm ready to go on the rehab." So, when every other center fielder's hurt, you might say, "Come on over, Buck. Let's give it a shot." But I don't know. I'm not real optimistic. But I do think this is where the final decision has to be made, right? He's your best player, and if you trade him, then it's total rebuild. But I think maybe it should be total rebuild. So that's okay too. So anyway,
yeah, I agree.
Other than that, they're in great shape.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, this is as bad as the mismatch with the Yankees has ever been, isn't it? I mean, when you see these two teams, the Yankees have been playing terrible, but it's still an utter mismatch. I said, did you see the pitch he threw to Aaron Judge, Joe?
I did not see any of the game.
He threw a nice little slide ball right in the middle of the plate. And if he would have thrown this 100 times, Judge would have homered 100 times. He would have never popped it. It was a hit me as far as you want to right off the bat, the first inning on an 0-2 count. But then again, he had the bad finger. So what the hell?
Yeah. I don't think he could play for the Islanders.
No. Boy, today is one of those lousy Minnesota days, isn't it?
No, I love it, man.
Oh, you can't love today because there's not a breath of air moving. I'm looking
out the window. The trees are bending over.
Not here. Not in Golden Valley. I didn't have a breath of air this morning. Maybe it's picked up this afternoon.
The trees are bending right here.
Wait a minute. What we're realizing though, then, since Pat's complaining about the air not moving, is this the day when we're going to take the dip?
He took one the other day.
I've been in 2-3 times.
Okay.
This has been a good week for jumping in there. Yes, it has been.
Is it getting used by the kids?
They were over yesterday.
Yeah.
They're now up to 12 and 10, right? You think they'd be getting to the point where they might get along?
Yeah.
Basically spent an hour attempting to drown each other. So, every once in a while I'd have to intercede and say, please don't keep them under for more than 20 seconds.
Great advice,
I don't know. They haven't taken Grandpa's advice yet that they got to become colleagues and partners in the future, so they wouldn't be telling on each other. They haven't yet taken on that advice.
Reusse, this shows an incredible amount of maturity on your part. You used to teach them how to smoke and curse, so you've really changed.
Well, I don't know. It's amazing to me how they don't get along. Now, when I had my two sons, they were 3 years apart, but we'd take off and go someplace, and then one day we decided to tease this one, and the next day we decided to tease the other one.
Sure.
So there was a different victim each time. We kind of mixed it up a little bit.
Yes.
So, that's right. And look how they turned out. Okay.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, what the hell?
Are you going to the ballpark tonight?
No, I was, but the more I think about it, I don't really have the right for tomorrow. And what do I want to go watch that for?
Yeah.
I can listen to Morneau and Dick try to make excuses for him at home. I don't have to go and watch it.
Right.
Yeah. They had Rodney in the booth yesterday. I might go if Rodney's still in town, because Rodney's in town doing some PR thing for him. So
is tomorrow that long funeral you fear?
Tomorrow is Father O'Rourke's funeral. Yes, Brian O'Rourke, a great human being. St. Mark's. Have you been at St. Mark's in the last 10 years?
No.
I was wondering how the air conditioning situation might be. Some of those old Catholic churches don't have the good air conditioning. It might be a little steamy in there.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm settling for an hour and a half. If they give me an hour and a half, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll make it.
Well, you can trim some time a game out of there. You'll figure it out.
If I see the arch there, I'm going to sit in the back, Joe.
Yep.
Because I'm going to have to pull a Richard Reusse take off a communion deal tomorrow if I see the arch there. So.
All right, we'll talk to you.
All right. See you.
All right, thank you.